Here we go. Alright, welcome back to the YouTube channel of Pro Enzo Vids, and I think you know what today's video is, and this video is going to be premiered obviously the next day. So as I'm speaking right now, it's going to be uploaded on the Monday. So right now it's Sunday and it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so this won't be premiered till like tomorrow afternoon on the Monday. But yeah, no, look, you know what this video is. It's my official 2023 NRL ladder predictions. So yeah, it's finally here again. It's January 30, so every year, you know, it's always uploaded on the same day every year, January 30. So it's going to be interesting to see what everyone's reaction is to my ladder, because it's definitely very bold in some parts, I reckon. But honestly, I think I've done okay. I think I have personally, but that's the end of the season to judge if I've done okay or not. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, look, it's obviously going to be exciting for you to see my ladder, because obviously it's different in some parts, I think, with who I've had a bit lower this year or a bit higher than last year. But yeah, it's controversial, but I'm more than happy to hear everyone's opinions in the comment section down below. Now, don't take it to heart. Just want to say that quickly, like that's something I want to point out. Don't take it to heart, because like just a prediction doesn't mean it's like it's literally going to happen. It's just a prediction coming from my opinion only, because I've seen people that have just taken it to heart and have sort of just gone off at me or whoever has done a prediction in the past and have just sort of lost the plot, really. So just to be mindful, it's a prediction only, not gonna like, you know, literally happen. It's just what I see happening personally, and we'll go from there. But yeah, everyone, it's going to be exciting either way. So I'd like to say, before I do reveal my whole ladder, that if you are new or watching the channel right now, please be sure to subscribe, because I have gotten a couple of new subscribers recently. I've been checking the sub count daily, and yeah, no, it's been great seeing how many subs I've been getting. It's good to see all the support start coming in with a lead up to the season coming ahead. So it's a good time to gain subscribers around the new season starting. So yeah, thank you very much everyone for the support, and I hope you all enjoy my ladder coming up. But without further ado, I think it's time to reveal Pro Enzo Vids' 2023 NRL ladder. So let's go. Okay, coming in 17th, I've got the St. George Illawarra Dragons as my wooden spoons for 2023. Now, to put it more into context for everyone that's questioning me on why I have Dragons at this position on the ladder, well, see, this year it seems to be a lot more of a distraction type year for the Dragons. Like, obviously they've had distractions in the past many times and stuff, but this is next level. Like with Amone and stuff, and seeing how he's been stood down for a long period of time, and you know, losing Jaden Sullivan to start the year as well, who are both 5'8". It's like, who's going to come in from there? Like, it's going to be Mo Zembai most likely, and that's not really a good solution, is it? But just in general, I think Dragons have just lost a lot of good quality over the years, and I think they've only replaced that quality of players and those players in general that they've lost with like players that aren't even first grade standard, in my opinion. Like, they've signed Jacob Little and Zane Musgrove. Both players aren't worth it for me, and none of them are going to change that Dragons side at all. I mean, what? Their team, or their forward pack, I should say, is going to look like this probably. Molo, Little, Laurie, Sewer, maybe Masilla and Bird at lock. Like, it's not really that good in my opinion. Like, that forward pack's a bit weak. Definitely lacking a good front row and probably a good edge player too, in my opinion. So their forward pack's definitely not up to standard for me. I can't see a team like that leading them anytime soon anywhere. I mean, their back line's probably the better part of their side, but again, losing Cody Ramsey is a big loss, and they're going to throw in Tyrell Sloan, who's had issues in the past with the Dragons, and Anthony Griffin, and that's going to, like, you know, put more pressure on him, I think, unfortunately. And then you've got, you know, not a bad centre pairing of Lomax and Sully, but Sully again is so inconsistent. Can't even read what Moses Sully you're going to get on game day. And same with Zach Lomax. Like, he spends more time throwing balls out the sideline and actually playing a bit more straight footy. So it's just like, I can't trust them. I really can't. I mean, you can't tell me a spine of Tyrell Sloan, Mo Zembai, or Jaden Sullivan until he comes back, Ben Hunt, and Jake Little takes him to anywhere outside the bottom 4. Like, it doesn't, in my opinion. So, Dragons come last, and Anthony Griffin to be sacked before round 10. In 16th, I've got the Newcastle Knights. Now, this is a very controversial one, I know, because when you look on the Knights team on paper, you're like, oh, it's not really a bottom 4 team at all. It's like on a range between maybe 12th to maybe 10th or even 9th. So, I can understand the people questioning me about having Knights this low, but let me just tell you something. I've noticed over the last couple of years that whenever there's a coach under pressure and doesn't go to any coach, or goes to some coaches, but not every coach, often that there's an instant change after a couple of string of losses and stuff like that. Like, obviously in the past, been many coaches who have been on the back foot and obviously have sort of had a time where they've lost a lot of games with that club and have sort of struggled to get anywhere further than, anywhere good, I should say. And then, I think that's the same with Adam O'Brien. Now, I don't hate AOB. I think he's a very solid coach on his day, but I don't think he's, got the time on his hands anymore. I don't think he's got the support of the club that much. So, I think he's going to struggle big time. And I think even though Hastings is there, and I think Hetherington and Miller, who might be coming, and Marzio, all good pickups and stuff, and Adam Elliott, I think they're just still going to struggle because of inconsistency-wise. I just think there's going to be a few issues with their forward pack, especially losing Clemmer and Mitch Barnett, and it's more the responsibility on the Saifidi boys, which I don't think is fair. So I think that, the Ponga experiment at 5'8" is a real concern as well, because it was already proven back in 2019 that Ponga wasn't a 5'8", so I don't understand why they're going back on that track again, but it's very weird. So I think Knights are in for a horrible year, and they'll come 16th, and I do think that Adam O'Brien will be sacked as well during the season. Alright, coming in 15th, it's the new boys on the block. It is the Dolphins, who I've got coming in 15th place. So the Dolphins, for me, are a club that I think will have some good moments during the year. Like, obviously, Wayne Bennett as coach, you'd expect some sort of improvement or some sort of, sort of thing that will happen across the season, or a couple of things I should say that will come good off Wayne Bennett being the coach. So I think he'll do an alright job in his first year, but I think 15th for me is just the right place to go, or the right way to go about the Dolphins, only because they've got such a new team, and they're, I guess, a team full of first graders mainly, but just because it's a new team and full of new combinations, most players haven't played with each other before, and it's like, it'll take time for those players to sort of get together and figure out what's the best combinations, or what that player's playing style is like compared to the other players' playing styles. So it's just, I think all of that's going to take a lot of time with the Dolphins, and I'm not expecting too much from it as well. Like, obviously, if Dolphins come 15th, everyone's going to say, oh, Wayne Bennett's lost it, oh, he's not a good coach anymore, and stuff like that. I mean, that's not necessarily true, because it's a new club, new franchise. A new franchise in their first season doesn't straight away get to the grand final, or let alone the finals in general. So I think it'll be a building sort of phase for the Dolphins, but I see a lot of good things coming for that club in the near future. Like, I think they'll just avoid the wooden spoon. They're not a wooden spoon team, in my opinion. There's no way they're a spoon team with Bennett as coach, and got far too many quality players in that team to get down there. But I do think they're going to struggle a little bit to maintain consistency during the season. But other than that, I don't think they'll be that bad. But for now, I've got them coming 15th from the ladder. Coming in 14th place, it's a very intriguing team this year, and it's a team that can literally finish a lot higher than what I'd have them. But yeah, in 14th place, I've got the West Tigers, and the Tigers are the real mystery of the NRL in 2023. Like, they've built such a good forward pack during the off-season. It's probably their best forward pack in nearly a decade, I'd say. Even longer, if you want to go that far. But yeah, no, they've definitely built themselves up, the Tigers. I think Tim Sheen's coming back is a bit of a... Well, he's been back since, 2021, but, was only a coaching consultant at the time. But, I think he'll be, okay with managing a few things, but I think he's not a modern-day coach. I don't think he's adapted or hasn't really learnt the modern game enough to take this Tigers team close to the top 8. I just think that with Tim Sheens, he's just not all there yet, and I think that there's a bit of time to go with sort of getting this Tigers team back to the top 8 or even close. So I think Yeah, no, I think with guys like Stefano, Clemmer, Blore, Bateman's big signing, Papali'i in the back row and stuff. Look, they're all great signings, and so is Charlie Staines. Like, they're all great signings and stuff. I mean, all great players in general, but just with like the signings they've made, like Papali'i, Bateman, and Coruscant, Staines, and all them. I get a feeling that some of them are going to go well, but some of them will not go great because of the Tigers culture and stuff like that. Like, there's a few times in the past where people have hyped up signings to be so good for the Tigers, but they haven't, like they've flopped. And Tyrone Peach is a good example of that. Came from Titans, and everyone was expecting him to change the club, being a great lock or something, but that did not work out. So I think there could be some sort of similar pattern with guys like Staines and Papali'i especially, but other than that, I think Tigers are on the up. I think Brooks is still a concern for mine. I think Dewey's still a bit of an inconsistent one. Dane Laurie, I'm not sold on being the fullback, but he's been training the halves apparently. So, look, I don't know. They're a very messy side, and they're a hard side to get a read on, but they're not as bad as what everyone thinks they are. So I think Tigers 14th is a respectable opinion. Coming in 13th, I've got the New Zealand Warriors. The Warriors, the Wars, or however you want to put them as, they're a very intriguing team as well. I think they're a team that can definitely finish a lot higher than 13th, but can definitely finish a lot lower than 13th. And that's what the team the Warriors are. They're a very hot and cold team. They're a rocks and diamonds type side. You don't know what you'll get out of the Warriors. It could be a very good team on the game day, but there could be another week where they just sort of go off the rails. But I think this year they look a lot better than the last couple of years, I reckon. Like, signing C&K, Chance, Nickel Cloxton back to the club's a massive inclusion for mine. Dylan Walker's a great pickup as a jersey 14. Luke Metcalf should explode. Murata Niokore adds plenty of depth and cover. He'll be a good pickup as well from the Eels. Same goes for Mitch Barnett, a quality back rower / lock. And just trying to think if I've picked up everyone, anyone else. And Team Murray Martin. Yeah, Team Murray Martin's a great pickup too. So they're definitely well in the up, the Warriors. Like, I think they've definitely done some good things to their squad, but it's just that I don't think they've got the team quite yet to get to the 8 or the finals in general. So, like, I think their backline's okay, but I think I've got some concerns with their 1 to 5. Like, the wingers and centres are a bit of a concern for mine outside of Dallin, Martinez-Lesniak. I don't know what their best sort of 3, 4, 5 is. I think Murray Martin and SJ are good halves, but I don't know if I can trust SJ for another season. And then, like, the forward pack's okay with Noel Blake and Bunty Afoa up front, but personally I think AFB is overrated. But I think Afoa, Egan, Curran, Barnett, I think they'll all carry that back that forward pack, if I'm being honest. But it's not the worst squad, but not top 8 yet for me. So I think 13th will be the Warriors. In 12th place, I've got the Gold Coast Titans. Now, the Titans for me are going to really improve this year. I think Titans are going to be the team that goes in the up, and I think they've built a good enough sort of forward pack that will probably carry them towards close to the 8 at least. So look, with the Titans, I think they are not as bad as what everyone has them. Like, obviously, they'll be, I guess, inconsistent at times, but I think they've done well building this sort of squad. I think building a team like, playing around guys like Fafita when he's on, Tino as a leader, Foran's a great pickup from Manly going to the Titans. He's going to kill it there, I reckon. Like, I know he's had injury issues in the past, but his last injury, or major one I should say, was about 3, nearly 4 years ago, so I don't know what the talk about his injuries are now. It means nothing really. So Foran, it will be a great pickup for them as well. Sam Verrills from the Roosters will be a big pickup as well. Like, obviously he's won a premiership, played plenty of finals games, and his quality will definitely add to the Titans team. So, I think Brimson or Campbell at fullback, doesn't matter. Both of them will do a good job either way, whoever's there. But look, it's not a bad team really. I don't think Titans have got long to go until they could be a top 8 contender. I do think I rate them on paper for their forward pack, but I just think they're not trustworthy yet to be a top 8 team. Like, maybe they'll actually come close at one point, but yeah, I don't think they're ready yet. I still got a concern around their sort of centre wingers. Like, I don't know if I guess Shop will be consistent there. Kelly, who's a good player, and one of the only few good centres there, but I don't think he gets a spot most of the time. But yeah, I don't know, because Titans have sort of shifted him out of the team. They've shifted him in, so I don't know. But yeah, look, I think their back five is a bit of a concern, but their forward pack's going to really help them, I think. So I expect big things from the Titans in 2023, and I think Holbrook will keep his job as well. In 11th place, I've got the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, everyone will most likely be like, the Bulldogs at 11th, they should be top 8 easy. Look who they've signed. Marnie, Kikau, Burn and Edo Carr will get even better over time. They've built such a good squad over the off-season, and they'll definitely be top 8. I don't know why they're outside the 8 for. Well, if you need a good description of why I think I missed the 8, then be my guest. So, look, I think 11th place is a respectable sort of place to put the Bulldogs, only because they're still unproven, and, we don't even know what they'll be like with all these new players coming in. Like, just because you sign some of the best players in the comp doesn't mean you'll instantly get in the top 8 and you'll instantly be a contender. Like, it takes time to really build a solid sort of squad and in a real winning type side. And I know the Bulldogs have done that through signing Kikau, Marnie, who else? I guess Fox, Burden, and all these players here, and then Crichton in 24. That's obviously a big pickup. But, look, I don't think they're going to get anywhere big straight away. Like, I'm not expecting them to make the 8 in their first sort of season building this new squad. And obviously, Cameron Silrada is apparently the next best coach coming up, which I think he will be. I think he's a great addition to the Bulldogs as coach. But, again, he's coaching such a new squad. It's like, in his rookie season, you can't expect him to, I guess, instantly take this Bulldogs team right to the top 8 or finals, I guess. So, I think they'll be okay and they'll definitely improve. But, we all said this about the Bulldogs from 2022, and look what happened. They still took a long time to get it all together. I get it, towards the back end of the season they came good, but, they've still got some question marks, I think. Like, is Averillo and Burns and, I guess, the fullback Perham, who, like it's been reported, will they even be good enough to take the Bulldogs to finals? Personally, for me, no, because that's not really the best combination for me. And then you've got Burton, Flanagan as the halves, which Burton's a great 5'8", but as for Flanagan and Burton, they don't lead a club around. Like, none of them are going to talk on the field, none of them are going to do anything like the game changes or something like that. And that's why I think there's still question marks of Flanagan and his future. So, again, I could be wrong in saying all this, but I think it's going to take a lot of time, the Bulldogs, and they're still going to take a bit of time to get to where everyone expects them to be. But, yeah, 11th is a good place for me. Coming in 10th place and missing the top 8 from last year, I've got the Canberra Raiders. Now, the Raiders, for me, are not a team to be prepared to completely write off, which I'm not going to do, because I'm not writing off Canberra and their finals hopes for this year, because, again, they've got the team to make the 8, and they've definitely got the quality to get near the top 6 or something like that. But I don't think, it's the same story with Canberra. Like, they're an inconsistent side as well. Like, Canberra, for me, are not consistent enough to make the 8 and stuff like that. And, the only reason why they made the 8 last year was because the Broncos wet the bed and they missed the finals, and that's how Canberra got in the first place, So, they've got an easy draw, Canberra. So, again, I wouldn't be shocked if they made the 8 because of their easy draw and stuff like that. But Canberra can't be trusted, I think. I just think that even though I had them in the 8 last year, which I got correct, there's some years where they do turn up and go well, but there's other years where they sort of fail to find their feet and they go a bit lower than expected. So I think with Canberra, they'll be good. And I think, their team with like Wyden and Fogey in the halves is still a solid halves pairing, but getting a bit older. And Xavier Savage at fullback for his first full year there. Like, I think he'll be good, but again, he's young and he makes a lot of errors, and with all these young fullbacks being hyped up so early, it's not fair, and the hype gets them a little bit. So I can see it unfortunately happening with Savage, but hopefully not. And as for the hooker, Zach Wolford, I'm not sold he's a hooker going forward. Like, I think Tom Starling should be starting anyway, but yeah, I don't know. They've got Danny Levi there too, so I don't know if they think that Wolford's the best hooker going forward, but we'll see anyway. But I mean, their backline's pretty good. Like, obviously, Timoke and Chris are still young centres and still aren't that experience, but they're definitely young with potential. And the wingers are Nick Kotrick and Rapana, which aren't that bad. And the forward pack is pretty good too, like Tarpany, Papali'i, Harry Renara, Whitehead, and I'm going to say probably Hudson Young too. Like, that's one of the best packs in the comp, but I'm just worried about their consistency because they do seem to lose against some teams that are worse than them, and they seem to beat some sides that are better than them. So I don't know about Canberra, but I think because they're so inconsistent and stuff, I think Temp's the best place for them. Okay, now the most controversial prediction I'd say across the whole ladder, and everyone's going to be like, you did not just put the Cowboys outside your top 8. Well, yes, I did. And obviously, I'd like to be questioned about that. So I guess my main reasoning for this is because how many times in the past have we seen clubs that have jumped up out of nowhere and have came out and, sort of been the surprise packer of the year type team, and then the next year they find a way to flop? Like, how many times has that happened? And I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen to the Cowboys, but based on my predictions, I think it will. But it may not in reality. But I just think with the Cowboys, they've got a great team. Obviously, Tamalolo, have all found their best form again. And Drinkwater at fullback's been great. And then you've got guys like Nanai, who's broken out. Griffin Neame, Reece Robson, Tom Dearden, Townsend. Like, it's obviously there's quality there. But again, so much can change across the last 12 months and stuff like that. It's just not even funny. And I think with the Cowboys, things are going to change, and I think they're going to go a bit backwards. Like, they definitely overachieved in my opinion. But I guess they did improve on a lot of things. Like, their record in Sydney is a lot better now, and they've improved, I guess, some players. But look, it happens to every club. Like, usually when there's a club that jumps up out of nowhere, they drop off next year. Happened to Parramatta in 2017, 2018. Happened to Manly in 2019, 2020, and even 2021, 2022. And I guess another club I can think of is like Canberra, like 2019-20 to drop off in 2021. Like, it's happened before, and it could happen again. Which, it may not, but it could, in my opinion, and I see it happening with the Cowboys. So the Cowboys, for me, will come 9th. Now, before I get thrown as a bias and you're just going to put your team there because you support them, blah, 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 and saying that, I'm just nothing more than bias, and having Manly, because of my club being there, of course I'll have them that high. Well, first of all, I back my team, so if you don't back your team, well, you're a real fan. That's just one way to put it as. But another reason I think is because that we've actually proven before with this team we can do some good things. Now, necessarily last year that was not the case, with obviously many things happening and whatever, but I think now, looking at the squad and seeing the potential best 17 for this side, I genuinely believe that it's a top 8 team. Like, I think with Tom being there, if he stays fit, then there's no doubt we're a top 8 team. And then, you put into something like this as well with Schuster. Like, if Schuster and Sherry Evans get that combination going, then that's a freakish combination, because Schuster and Tom and DC all combining when they're fully fit and looking great on form, it's hard to stop that. And I think Croker is a bit of a concern for me, but I still think he'll improve and should get a bit better. But yeah, look, no, I think we're a top 8 team. I think looking at our back line, it's still quality with Kola, who's going to explode even more, I reckon, young Tolu Kola. With Garrick in the centres, I think that's a great move. He obviously has an ambition to play there, and he played all his juniors there too, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that left side of Schuster, Tulangi, and Garrick all goes. And like the wingers are probably going to be Jason Saab and Tui Pilotu, which both of them know how to find their way to the try line. So I think that'll be great, them two. And obviously the forward pack's, I guess, a little concern, but I think Aloiai and Paseka will both step up this year. That's still damaging in my opinion, them two up front. Then I think Olakau'atu or Tulangi have potential to be one of the best back row combinations in the NRL, and I say that in the NRL they get it right. And Jake at lock, I think Seabold will unlock Jake and make him more of a ball-playing player and bring back his ball-playing, unlike Des, where he sort of stuffed up his game and only made him the link man. So everyone's going to shit on Seabold, that's fine, but I think he'll have a redemption season. I think he will do some things that no one's going to expect him to do. So I'm expecting a big year for Manly, and I only say it quietly, but it's not too quiet now. Coming in 7th is the Cronulla Southern Sharks. Yep, a big drop-off from 2nd to 7th in the space of the new year. But, yeah, I think this year the Sharks will be a lot more targeted, and especially to Nico Hines. Look, still a great team, and I think Sharks are still a top 8 quality type side. I think with Moylan and Hines as the halves, and Kennedy, Katoa, Ramian, Talakai centres, and Mulitalo, it's still top 8 quality. But I guess the only concern with them is just if they're a bit like Cowboys, if they can back up that sort of big season, because they could be a one-hit wonder Sharks. So I'm being very wary of that. But for now, I have them 7th place. Coming in number 6, I got the Brisbane Broncos now. Everyone's going to probably go off about this one as well. But I think with the Broncos, they are not struggling because of talent. They're struggling because of off-season, issues. And see, if Broncos can fix their drama and, culture and stuff like that, then they're no doubt a top 6 team. I think the Broncos are going to explode this year. I think a backline of Walsh, Oates, Staggs, Farnworth, Cobbo, Mam, Reynolds, it picks itself, and that's just amazing in my opinion. That's a fantastic sort of backline. Their forward pack's great as well with Pass, Carrigan, Capewell, Flegler, and all these guys. The only concern is the hooker, but other than that, you'd be crazy to say that this team isn't any lower. You'd be crazy to think that this team's any lower than 10th, I'd say, because this team should be around the top 8 at least. So I've got Broncos in 6. Coming in 5th, it's the 2022 runners-up, the Parramatta Eels. Now, look, Parramatta, for me, are a team that should be making the 8, and I don't think they'll drop any lower than 6, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are saying that, but they've still got practically most of the same side. That has been proven for many years to be a top 8 side consistently. But, yeah, with the Eels, I just think Brown, Moses, Gufferson, they should all be good enough to take Eels into another season in the finals. And I guess Josh Hodgson's a bit of concern with his fitness, but on his day and the way he's been training, he should still pick this Parramatta side up and take them to finals. So I'm pretty confident in saying that Eels will still have a good season despite last year's heartbreak in the grand final. But yeah, no, their forward pack's great with RCG, Paolo and Lane and Murchie might be the other back row with Madison, and then the back line's good with Pinasini, Sevo, Gutho, and yeah, look, it's obviously it's not the best in the comp, but it's up there, so I think they'll make the 8. Coming in 4th place, got the Melbourne Storm. The Storm are still a quality side that will still be up there and competing every game. And for people who are saying that they'll flop, obviously it's a prediction, so I'm not going to criticise it. But I guess when you see people saying that they'll flop, it's not going to happen under Bellamy's last season. There's no way Bellamy and the players are going to tolerate a flop of a season in his last year as coach. I understand they've lost Kafusi, the Bromwich brothers, and they've obviously lost quite a bit of quality over time with the Fox and Finucane recently too, and Hines, but they still have one of the best spines in the comp through Pappenhausen, Munster, Hughes, and Grant. And Smith's a big loss, but Grant will step up. And I still think their backline and forward pack's still pretty strong, so they should be top 4 in my opinion anyway. Coming in 3rd place, I've got the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Well, with this team, they should be at least top 4. I'm assuming so anyway. They've got a lot of talent. They probably have one of the best sort of spines in the comp as well through Latrell, Cody Walker, Ilias, and Cook. That for me is just outstanding itself, can really pick it itself for really that spine. But yeah, no, look, I think South will capitalise like they do every year on their good seasons. Like, they don't drop off one year after another. I still think they'll consistently keep up their good work in making the top four. JD should still get the best out of that team, and I think with Latrell being fully fit for another season now, if he can continue his 2022 back form into 2023, that'll be scary for South Sydney. So I'm only expecting them to get better and make the top four. In second place, I've got the Penrith Panthers, the back-to-back premiers. Now, obviously, it's not a big drop from first to second, but I guess just for their standard, it might be. The way they've been going the past couple of years, maybe a drop to second is pretty big. But I just think because they've won back-to-back competitions and players are leaving and, obviously losing Kickout and Coruscant to start the new year is very big losses in my opinion. And for only, I guess, someone like Mitch Kenny or Sonny Luke, who are still fairly inexperienced, to step in for Coruscant, who made such a difference to their ruck, and Luke Garner, who obviously will improve big time at Panthers, I predict, but replacing Kickout is never an easy task. I think they'll drop off a little bit, Penrith. Like, I'm expecting them not to be the same as they were in 2020, 21, and 22. I do think there's a chance they'll drop off with some games and lose a bit more than expected, but I think when you look at the team on paper through the halves being Luai, Cleary, Edwards at fullback, and then, Tago, May, and, Fisher Harris, Leota in the forwards, and all these players, like, it's still top four for sure, top two, and they'll still be competitive. So Penrith for me is second. Coming in first, I've got the Sydney Roosters as my minor premiers 2023. So the Roosters have obviously been very impressive on the recruitment front, signing Brandon Smith as the new hooker, and he'll be combining with Luke Keary, Sam Walker, and James Tedesco in that spine, which is itself looks fantastic. And then, obviously Joseph Manu, Joseph Suaalii, probably in the centres with Jackson Pulo on the wing with Tupou, and it's stacked, and they've got one of the best back rows in the games. Angus Crichton there too, with Tupanua yet to return. Butcher will start there. Then it's a great team. Robinson's still there. Obviously the Roosters in the past have been hyped up to do something great and finish around the top two or come first, and it hasn't happened because of injuries or just, I guess, lack of form. But with the Cheese being there, his presence is going to lift the whole Roosters team, I reckon. I mean, already Tedesco's doing that, and I guess you can say someone like Keary and Walker, but the Cheese and the way he plays for the middle is just going to benefit the whole team even more. So I'm expecting a big year from the Roosters. I'm not going to lie, I'm expecting a big year, so I've got them coming first on the ladder. But everyone, that there is my official 2023 NRL ladder prediction. I know it's very controversial. I know people will get upset, but look, just to let you know, it's a prediction, not going to literally happen. It's just what I think. But anyway, we'll see what other people will say, and let's see if there's the same response there too. But anyway, that brings it into my ladder prediction for 2023 for another year. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your thoughts on my ladder, and give yours in the comment section down below. See you all in the next one.